In a serene town nestled in the shadow of the mighty Himalayas, the palace of King Siddhartha lay quiet under the blanket of night. Inside its grand walls, Queen Maya was fast asleep, her chambers bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. That night, though, was unlike any other. As the palace rested in its usual stillness, the queen was visited by an extraordinary dream. In her dream, a small white elephant appeared, radiant and gentle. The elephant moved closer and closer, its presence growing more profound, until it entered her body from her side. Startled, the queen awoke, her heart racing with wonder. The next day, curious about the meaning of her dream, Queen Maya sought counsel. The interpretation she received filled her with awe. The dream foretold that she would soon conceive a child, and it would be a baby boy. But this was no ordinary child. The boy was destined for greatness, either as a mighty emperor who would rule with unmatched power or as a spiritual teacher unlike any the world had ever known. When the king and queen learned of this prophecy, their excitement was palpable. The thought of a future emperor who would bring glory to their lineage and uphold their royal heritage filled their hearts with pride and hope. Little did they know, the path this child would walk would change the world forever. 9 months passed, and the day finally arrived when the young emperor was born. But this was no ordinary birth. Something extraordinary occurred that left everyone in awe. As the newborn opened his eyes to the world, he did the unimaginable. He stood up and took 7 steps. Then, in a voice clear and firm, the infant spoke words that echoed through the palace. "This will be the last time I am born." The astonished onlookers could only wonder, "Wait, has he been born before?" But the child offered no answers. His silence only deepened the mystery surrounding him. It was then that he was given the name Siddhartha Gautama. Siddhartha grew up within the opulent walls of his father's palace, living a life of unparalleled comfort. Everything he could ever want or need was provided before he could even ask. Yet this life of ease was not by his own design. His father, King Siddhartha, watched him closely as he grew, constantly reminded of the prophecy that his son would either become a great emperor or a spiritual teacher. Determined to see Siddhartha fulfill the former destiny, the king sought to shield him from anything that might inspire deeper contemplation. He restricted Siddhartha's movements, keeping him within the palace as much as possible. Even when the young prince ventured outside in the royal carriage, the king took meticulous precautions. The streets were filled with cheerful, smiling people, and any sign of sickness, poverty, or suffering was carefully hidden from view. We must ensure he doesn't concern himself with thoughts of life, death, or purpose, the king resolved. He must focus only on his future as an emperor. For a time, this carefully crafted illusion held. At the age of 29, Siddhartha's life took a turn that no amount of royal luxury could have prepared him for. One fateful day, either by chance or destiny, he witnessed something that would change him forever. An old man, frail and bent, moved slowly, and a sick man, pale and weak, and he came across a lifeless body and an wandering ascetic. The truth was undeniable now. The life he had known, the palace, the riches, the indulgences, was a mirage. These walls, no matter how grand, could not shield him from the realities of aging, illness, and death. His father's efforts to keep him blissfully ignorant now seemed like a grand deception. Late one night, Siddhartha slipped out of his chambers. He took one last lingering look at the palace, at all the comforts his father had provided to keep him bound within those gilded fences, far from the harsh truths of life. That night he made his decision. He would leave it all behind. He would walk away from luxury, not out of guilt or boredom, but to understand suffering, to unravel the mysteries of human existence, and most importantly, to find a way to ease that suffering. At first, Siddhartha believed that abandoning comfort entirely would bring him closer to the truth. He embraced an austere life, going days without food, pushing his body to its limits. But this path, too, led him to a revelation. Starvation, like indulgence, clouded his mind and dulled his spirit. Neither extreme held the answers he sought. Siddhartha turned to meditation, learning from spiritual teachers he met along his journey. His sharp mind and quick grasp of their teachings earned him admiration. Some asked him to join them as a teacher, while others sought to become his disciples. Yet Siddhartha declined. For him, meditation was a tool, not the destination. His quest was far greater, to uncover the deeper truths of life. For 6 years, Siddhartha wandered, living among the streets and the wilderness. Then, one night, as he meditated beneath a fig tree, everything changed. The night was as significant as the night his mother had dreamed of the white elephant. As he sat in deep reflection, the pieces of life's puzzle began to fit together. He understood the nature of suffering and the path to end it. Not just reduce it, but to extinguish it completely. That night, Siddhartha reached enlightenment. From that moment on, he was no longer just a man. He was the awakened one, known to the world as Buddha. He had uncovered the profound truths of life, how to transcend suffering, old age, disease, and death. But what should he do with this wisdom? For 7 weeks, Buddha remained under the sacred tree, meditating and contemplating the weight of his discovery. The clarity he had achieved was not meant for him alone, he realized. It would be selfish to keep such knowledge to himself. With resolve, he decided to share his enlightenment with others. Buddha returned to the city, seeking out 5 companions he had once encountered during his ascetic journey. To them, he began to reveal the truths that had awakened him. But what exactly did he tell them? Could anyone truly grasp the nature of life as he had? Could suffering really be conquered? Buddha's teachings could be distilled into 4 fundamental truths. To understand these truths, one must first comprehend his view of existence and the laws governing it. According to Buddha, death is not an end but a transition. When a person dies, they are reborn, not as someone entirely new, but as the same essence in a different body. This cycle, known as reincarnation, was not an entirely new concept. Hinduism, the dominant belief system of Buddha's homeland, had long embraced the idea. But Buddha added a transformative insight. The nature of one's rebirth is determined by their karma. Karma, as Buddha described it, is a moral ledger, a cosmic scorecard that records the good and bad deeds of a person. Acts of kindness and generosity earn good karma, while selfish or harmful actions accrue bad karma. Upon death, this balance of karma dictates the conditions of one's next life. Will they be wealthy or poor? Healthy or plagued by illness? Calm or prone to anger? Even the form of existence, human, animal, or something else, depends on this karmic balance. For those burdened with excessive bad karma, rebirth could occur in a state of suffering, such as in an animal form or a realm akin to hell. However, unlike eternal damnation, these states are not permanent. A being remains in such conditions only until their negative karma is exhausted. Conversely, good karma could lead to rebirth as a celestial being, living in a realm beyond human existence. Yet even there, karma remains inescapable. Without continued virtuous deeds, celestial beings, too, could fall from grace. For Buddha, karma was as natural and unyielding as gravity, affecting everyone, be they kings or beggars. The human world, he explained, is uniquely valuable. It is a realm where one can discern right from wrong, overcome challenges, and improve their karma. Even those born into difficult circumstances have the opportunity to rise above them. For humans, the chance to navigate and improve karma is a rare and precious gift. But Buddha's ultimate teaching was this: escaping the cycle of karma altogether is possible. By understanding life's truths and living with wisdom and compassion, one could transcend the endless cycle of rebirth and suffering, reaching a state of ultimate liberation. And so, with clarity and purpose, Buddha began to share his path, a journey not just to reduce suffering, but to end it entirely. Buddha's teachings began with a stark realization, which he called the first truth. Life is filled with suffering. No amount of wealth, power, or avoidance could shield anyone from the inevitable aging, illness, and death. But suffering wasn't limited to these physical experiences. It also included the daily struggles of the mind, anxiety, fear, and disappointment. This suffering, Buddha explained, arises because life never aligns perfectly with our desires. Even when it does, the joy is fleeting, and we are left yearning once again. This insight led to the second truth: the root of all suffering is desire. Desire, according to Buddha, takes many forms. The first and most visible is the craving for material or physical possessions. These desires, though not inherently evil, often lead to disappointment when unmet. The second form of desire is more abstract: the longing to exist, to prove oneself, and to carve out an identity. This can drive a person to pursue ambitions, explore the world, or establish their place within it. The third and most dangerous form of desire is the yearning to not exist. This is a self-destructive impulse, born from a lack of self-worth, which can lead to neglect, harm, or even thoughts of ending one's life. Despite their differences, all three forms of desire share a common trait. They are insatiable. Material desires leave us wanting more, the desire to exist is boundless, and the desire to not exist cannot be fulfilled as long as one lives. Buddha likened this cycle of desire and dissatisfaction to a fire, with each unfulfilled craving serving as fuel to keep the flames alive. Even the desire to escape life through death is futile, Buddha taught. Suicide does not end existence, as the soul is reborn, carrying the same unresolved desires into the next life. This endless cycle of craving and suffering mirrors the cycle of life and death, tying humanity to its perpetual struggle. But there was hope. Buddha's third truth revealed a profound possibility. There is a way to end suffering. By breaking free from the cycle of desire, one could also escape the endless loop of rebirth and reach a state of liberation known as nirvana. Nirvana, Buddha explained, is not a place but a state of being. It is akin to a flame being extinguished, a release from the fire of suffering. This state is achievable in life and represents the ultimate freedom from desires and the burdens they bring. The fourth truth provided the path to nirvana, a journey that could be divided into 3 parts. The first was cultivating good karma through moral actions. For Buddha, morality was not about blind obedience to his teachings or societal norms. Humans, he believed, are capable of understanding the consequences of their actions and deciding for themselves what is right or wrong. Buddha identified 3 roots of evil: hatred, greed, and ignorance, and 3 roots of good: letting go, loving others, and understanding the world. He emphasized that morality must come from personal conviction, not mere compliance. Even if an action went against societal expectations or his own words, if it was genuinely good, it would generate positive karma. The second component of the path was wisdom. True wisdom allows individuals to see the world as it is, free from illusions and misconceptions. With wisdom, one can make decisions that lead to liberation rather than entanglement. Thus, Buddha's teachings offered not just an explanation of suffering but a way to transcend it, a path to a life free from the endless cycles of craving, dissatisfaction, and rebirth. It was a call to understand, to let go, and ultimately, to awaken. Wisdom, for Buddha, meant more than mere knowledge. It was the deep understanding of the 4 noble truths and the continuous pursuit of greater insight into the world. To walk the path toward nirvana, one must not only seek wisdom but also embrace meditation. Unlike the prayer practices of many revealed religions, meditation in Buddhism was not an act of submission or obedience. Instead, it was a reflective process, a means to ponder life, the world, and one's place within it. Meditation served as a tool for cultivating both wisdom and virtue, guiding individuals closer to liberation. Buddha believed that these practices, wisdom, virtue, and meditation, would ultimately lead a person to nirvana. As for Buddha's life after his enlightenment, little is known in detail. What is clear, however, is that he dedicated himself to spreading his teachings. Walking from village to village and city to city, he shared his MOI. What would become of his teachings? Who would lead after him? But Buddha dismissed the idea of succession. He was not a prophet, a deity, or a ruler. He was a teacher, a seeker who had discovered a path through meditation and shared it with others. He asked only that people preserve his instructions, think critically about them, and allow others the freedom to do the same. Buddha's life came to an end in a small Indian village, lying on his side between 2 trees. According to his teachings, he achieved nirvana, completing his journey and breaking free from the cycle of rebirth. The stories of Buddha's early life, though often embellished with mythical elements like a talking newborn or a white elephant, reflect universal human experiences. They portray a journey from innocence and comfort to disillusionment and self-discovery. As children, we perceive the world as safe and beautiful, shielded by our caregivers. But as we grow, reality intrudes. We begin to encounter desires that go unmet and truths that challenge our worldview. At this juncture, we face a choice: to cling to the comfort of our illusions or to confront the world as it truly is, even if it means stepping into discomfort. Buddha chose the latter. He stepped beyond his sheltered existence, embracing the rawness of the world. He endured hunger, learned from yogic practices, and experienced the extremes of human existence. Through this surrender, he discovered what he sought: a profound understanding of life, even if it wasn't what others might seek. This deeply personal and philosophical journey has resonated with millions, inspiring nearly 500 million practitioners worldwide. Buddhism is not a revealed religion like Islam, Judaism, or Christianity. It is a philosophy, an exploration of the world, humanity, and the relationships that bind them.